Welcome back, and we'll continue adding more details to our elevated water tank. Now we'll come closer to the to this brace here. So I'll turn it round, or you can see this plate, this gasket plate will be welded to this, and it will be part of the column assembly. But as of now, I haven't welded it, so I'll weld it later on, and show, I'll give you details why. Now I want to create a point here, so I'll come to edit, then come to points, then I'll come to dividing points here. So dividing points, I want to the reason why I'm using dividing points is because I want to get the midpoint between this point and this point. So I'll snap on that spot and snap on this spot here, so that I'll be able to get that midpoint. So from there, I'll pick up that midpoint right there, right click, then come to special copy here and pick on linear. So prior to giving it an offset inward, first of all, check the position of our XYZ position. You can see it's not in line with our with the direction we want to take. So what we're going to do, I'm going to close that, then come to view. I'll come to view, then come to more positions, then pick on the surface. Then I'll select the surface here to reorient the XYZ plane in the same way, or orient itself the way this member has oriented itself here. So if the moment I pick on that surface, you can be able to see the XYZ is in line with the orientation on how this member is framing into this column here through a gusset plate. So I want to copy my point here from there and select it and come to special copy here and pick on linear. So in the X direction here, I want to bring it inward or inside by 50 millimeter to create my absolute position. Then prior to working on these coordinates, you only work on one, so the rest must remain on 0. And change that 0, then I'll come to 6 here, I'll come to X, then I'll feed in 50. So the direction of the X-axis is positive, though, so we don't need to prefix this 50 with any sign, because positive means there's no negative sign there. So I'll go ahead and click copy. So you can see I want to define this as my absolute coordinator position of my bolt. So the same bolt is actively selected. So I right click and come to special copy once again and copy it inward once again by 50. So this will be my relative point to absolute position of my bolt. So I'll come to steel, then come to bolts, then select on that. So I'll select this plate and that member, then right click, then I'll start my bolting from that position here to my relative position right there. So I have my bolt in place. So once I've done so, I'm going to double click on it, and I want to modify, I want to add more 3 or 2 bolts right there. Come to position right here. Then in here, I can even add maybe 35 there or 35 there and click OK. So I have this bolt in place, but you can see they're very close. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give an offset right there of maybe or 30 there. Then I want to change this to 60 space. Then I need 2 bolts there at 60. So if I click OK, I'll be able to see I have my bolts in place, but they are almost way off. So if I bring that front and see the position, that's okay. I think that's okay, and I can change that to 75 to see how wide it will be, and that's okay. I can maintain it in that position. So if I double click here and come to position here, I can put them there. They're centered right in the middle. If I close OK, that's okay. Then I'll come this side and define some points for placement of my bolts. Bolt this to this, and this will be welded to these gusset plates. Now let me define my points and come to points right there. Then just snap, because my snaps are active, so I can just locate my midpoint, then pick that point, right click and come to spatial copy here and pick linear, and I want to bring it on the x direction, but this time round we'll be going against the direction of the x-axis, so we'll prefix that dimension with the positive sign, with the negative sign I mean, and click OK. So we have this in place. So we have to do the same thing here, interrupt, and just go ahead and click OK, so that to add more points there. So I'll come back to steel, then come to point, pick the parts that you want to bolt together, right click and come here, pick your absolute point, then select the relative point right there, and you have a bolt in place. If I double click right there, I'll be able to change this. I'll be able to turn that 30, and I need 2 times maybe 60 right there, and click OK. So then once I click on that, you'll be able to see I have this in place. So first of all, the bolting on the side should be the same. The settings should be the same. So if I double click here, I can just come to this position, copy that, right click, then close that. I've copied that. So if you come this end, double click on that, then come to position, I'll just paste the exact thing here and click OK. So once I click OK, I'll change I'll play around with the positions with the XYZ alignment here, and bring this one, maybe bring it front. If I click on that, my bolt will be at the front, and we are slightly off the mark here. We can retain it on that spot. Then this one we can change to probably 35, but that is not the best way to do that. Change that to 30 just to bring it back. If I try change this to middle, it's going backward, and this should be the middle. Bring it behind, and just bring it front and click OK. And this one we have to change that to 60, because it has to match both sides. So that is 60. That is 60, and this one we can change to 20. So if I click apply, and I hope this bolt is not protruding outside, and that is okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to match these properties right on the other side. I'll right click here and copy that, select on that, close that, then come this far end and double click on these bolts, and come to positions and double click on, select everything here, right click and paste, and click apply and give it an OK, and this matches on the other end, and that's how you play around with that. So at the mid here, I want to add a bolt. Let me just turn that round. At the center here, I have my point in place, so I have to create a bolt here. I'll come to steel and come to bolt right there and pick that point, pick that member, right click and snap at the middle, center at the mid there as my absolute point, and click on that, and I have my bolts in place. So that's how you create your bolts and to bolt each member. So that we've created our bolt in place. So the next step will be populating all these bracings upward. So let's be done, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Bye bye.